Hey Quilty friends, I'm Natalia Bonner and I've got a fun tutorial to share with you here today on YouTube. You know, a lot of the things that I share today or here on YouTube are more inspirational and hopefully inspiring you in your machine quilting journey. But today's is a little bit different and it's actually a tutorial. So this little design that I'm going to walk you through, I call it like a playful rainbow. It's a great background filler. I quilt this design pretty small. When I quilt it out, there's usually maybe 1/4 of an inch spacing in between my lines. So it's a smaller, more dense design. Personally, I like heavier quilting, so that that scale works really well for me. You know, if you like looser quilting, then make it a little bit looser and it would still look really, really awesome. So let's get to the video tutorial. When stitching out the playful rainbow design, I like to start out by stitching a single pebble. So this first single pebble is kind of my foundation. It's what I will start out and build around. I stitch one pebble, then from that pebble I will add echoes or rainbows, whatever you want to call them, around the outside of that pebble. Something to notice here with my design as I stitch those rainbows, in order to get this nice rainbowy type look, I'll stitch one, then travel along my previous stitch line, moving over about 1/4 of an inch before I stitch the next one going the opposite direction around my pebble. Also notice here I'm only going, you know, sometimes I'll go almost all of the way around the pebble, creating more of like a circle, but sometimes it's just 1/4 of the way or half the way around that particular pebble. As I continue this design, I will work my way through the design, stitching pebbles with echoes, working all the way around that design until I filled in my quilting space consistently and evenly. A couple of things to pay attention to here. I don't want them all to be the exact same size, all of my rainbows. So I do alternate, you know, some of them do have 3 or 4 echoes around them. Some of them might only have 1. The other thing that I like to try to do is make those rainbows alternate directions. I don't love the look that they're all coming from one place. So if I try to alternate them, you know, some coming from the left side, some coming from the right side, I feel like overall I get a nicer, more consistent look versus creating a directional look where everything kind of seems to just go in one direction and that's kind of the direction your eye is drawn to. So make it a little bit more random, and at least for me, I like the results I'm able to achieve by doing that. Just a brief mention, because I know somebody's going to ask, the products that I'm using here today. I do all of my machine quilting on a Gamma 22-inch machine. I do have the ruler foot on my machine. This is the foot that I use most of the time, because I do so much ruler work, I always just leave my ruler foot on my machine. The thread that I'm using here on the top is So Fine, color number 401. I do have this available for purchase on my website. It's peaceandquilt.com. The batting that is used in this particular quilt is Quilter's Dream wool. I love the texture that I'm able to create with this batting, so that's what I'm choosing to use on this particular quilt. I hope you all have a fabulous day. Make sure to jump over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/Natalia Bonner, for lots more machine quilting inspiration. See you